Bakotunes radio. Hello?
Brian.
Hey, how's it going, man?
All
Thanks for
right.
calling.
Well, let's get to it, man. I mean, the world is buzzing about this, especially all the Korn fans, and I've been following all the reports. But I'm glad that I got to read some of the interviews that you've done, which have all been pretty brief, and the journalists asked you the same questions. But what I'd really like to know is what kind of reunion do you classify this as? Because to me, following the things that you've done, I saw the video footage of you over at the California Rebellion stage when you sat in, and looking at the schedule of some of the plans that you have for next year, I mean, to me it sounds more like you're just sitting in as a guest rather than actual reunion, because a reunion to me means you're back in Korn, you're going to be featured in everything that Korn does now. You tell me, what's really going on?
Oh, yeah, the thing is, it's kind of a weird situation because we're all doing it based on like a trial thing, to see like everyone's so humble now, everyone's happy, there's no drama at all. But at the same time, like it's been so long that we're going in. If I'm free, I'm doing it. As far as live shows, you know what I mean. And if I can get my band on some of the stuff, because I just signed a record deal with my other band, Love and Death. So yeah. It's like I have an obligation to this record label to tour with my band. So I'm like, everything they're asking me, I'm like, okay, do you think it'd be possible if I could bring my other band on a couple dates? The label's happy, I'm happy, you're happy, everyone's happy. And they're like, okay, we'll see if we can do that. So we're just going by case right now. And we're just going to see how that pans out, because it's just kind of, I got like one full-time thing I got to think about while doing that. So that's where I'm at.
Now was the decision to make this move, was it as easy as just a phone call, hey guys, I want to do this? Or, I mean, was there a lot of soul searching that you had to do first before really deciding on this, or what was the deciding factor?
Yeah, because, you know what I mean? Like when I left, it was all like, I was like, I just want to start over. I'm just miserable. I'm not happy. I thought money and fame was everything, and music, all that. So I was like, it wasn't it for me. And when I left and just focused on my daughter, I thought that was it. I thought, just a new life, and they were doing fine on their own and all that stuff, And then when I played with them last May, it was just like I felt all this emotion, and there was tears, and it was just this big thing, it like really touched me, It was more than anything that I thought it would be, and it was just like, wow. And then what happened was James Monkey called me about a month later or something, and he was like, hey man, it was so good to see you, and I really loved connecting with you, man, and he goes, if you ever want to do some stuff with us, just the doors are open, man, let us know. And then, like, after we talked for like an hour just about life, and then afterwards he texts me and goes, hey man, I just want you to know, like, I'm just glad to be talking to you again. It's not about the music. If you don't want to do it, it's all good, And I actually told him the first time, I just thought, like, that now is not, I don't think now is the right time if it were to happen. But I said, let me go think about it. And I started thinking about it, and just, I was praying about it and everything, and I just felt in my heart that now is the time. And it just made perfect sense. So that's a long answer, but that's what
that's totally cool. That's totally cool. Leading up to that moment in May, did you ever think that was going to happen? Was there any kind of plan in the back of your head that maybe I'll get up to join them? Or
it's funny because I thought about that. First, I was like, what if people like try to get me to play a song, and I just want to go there and just chill. I don't want to play. I don't want to make a deal about that I'm there.
Did you before you went over there? Did you like maybe go over a song or two at home? Was it that? Did you try to plan this?
Well, I play blind in my solo band set anyway, because there's always a couple Korn fans in the audience, and so I play blind anyway. And I play like a medley of like Freak on a Leash, Falling Away From Me, and some of this old songs we used to do. But purposely, because I was like, I don't want to make a deal. If they ask me, if anybody asks me to play with them, I don't. So purposely I go, okay, I'm not going to tell anybody I'm going until a day before, so there's no time to like plan anything.
Yeah.
Seriously. And then when I got there, I was just watching Evanescence, I was watching Five Finger Death Punch, Stained, all those bands, just having a good time with my daughter. And then Monkey woke up, and then the tour manager for KORN said, "You want to go see Monkey?" And I was like, "Yes, it's been since 2005, 7 years is long enough." So I went and talked to him and just hung out with him. Next thing you know, they go, "Hey, come to the meet and greet with us." And so I went and signed like 50 autographs with KORN, and I was like, "How is this happening?" And I was like, "All right, cool. Well, nice to see you guys. I haven't seen you in forever." But now I'm signing autographs with you. It just felt like I was put right back in that position, and it was meant to be. And then I gathered with them before the show. I was like, "I'm going to the soundboard. I get to watch KORN from the audience. My first time, cool." And then they're like, "But we set up an amp for you and a guitar. So you want to jam with us?" And I was like, just what I was trying to like. I wanted not because of anything. It's just I wanted to go watch from the crowd, And I was like trying to avoid it. And then and I was like, all right, I'll play blind. And then so instead of going to the crowd, I sat behind Fieldy's amp and all the big production they had, and I did the show. I did that. I watched the whole show right there, and I was just like feeling all the love and all that stuff from all the crowd, and just like my brothers that I grew up with, and then it just touched my heart, man, and that was it. Like all was forgiven, everything, and it was like, oh man, I forget the question. I just started rambling.
No. That's cool. That's cool. Well, okay. So when you went to go see Monkey backstage, that was the first time you'd seen him since you left?
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? That was one of my best friends too, and I saw him one time about 3 months after I left KORN. I saw him one time at our bass player's father's funeral, and he was really hungover, and like I didn't get a chance to talk to him at all. It was just like, hey dude, hey, how you doing? Hey, bye. It was that type of thing. So 7 years, nothing. He had reached out to me once or twice, and I just I was in this place where I just didn't want to be connected with anybody in my whole life for a while, and so I feel bad that I didn't reach back out to him, but I think he understands now that I just had to go through the process.
What about Fieldy and John? What was the last time you'd spoken?
John got his blood, something in his blood was jacked up in 2006, and he had to cancel dates in Europe, and he could have died and stuff, so I reached out to him then. And then I hadn't talked to him. I started talking I play B-Riders in Bakersfield in 2011, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, 2011, in the summer or fall. And my tour manager calls me and says Jonathan Davis and his family and his sister and stuff want to come, and his wife, they want to come watch you at B-Riders. I'm like, what? I haven't seen him since I left KORN, since the last KORN tour. I haven't seen him since then. Wow. So, but I talked to him in 2006 when he got sick, and so I just kind of lost touch after that, and I didn't see him since I was on stage with him with KORN. So he came to my show, and he took me to the KORN studio after my show. He took me around, and he was like, "Man," he's like, "we need you back, man." And I was like, "Whoa, slow down, man." That's good to see you, But I was so nervous because it's like, that's my. I always looked up to him as a singer, and just he's Jonathan Davis, even though he just, that quiet little guy that I met, before we got famous. But I was all nervous, and then for him to hang out that night was surreal. But yeah.
When was the last time you spoke with David? Seems like he's always been kind of the elusive one.
Yeah, I spoke with him in 2011 too, just through text, and that's when because I just there's a time. I totally believe with all my heart there's a time to reconnect with everybody, and when people would push me, to do it before it was time, and I remember I'm trying to be clear here, but all those years I thought it wouldn't happen, But now that I know that now that it's happening, I could see clearly that it just wasn't time. All these people were approaching me with it, and I was like, get away from me. I don't want to go back to KORN. No, I don't want to be famous. I don't, I'm just doing small little clubs now. I don't care about that big stuff. No. And so that's what he was doing when I talked to David. He was like, dude, let's get back together. We'll make all this money. It'll be all this. And I was like, I don't care about that. Leave me alone, I was like, I love you. It's great to hear from you, but please stop talking to me about all this. And then, but now that I look back, I realized it just wasn't time, and then now the time has come. So I wish nothing but love and blessings and happiness for David, totally.
So there doesn't seem like any chance that we'll see him back in. I mean, as far as you can see right now.
That's more of like a KORN question, but as far as I can see, like definitely not right now. Like never it's gonna happen. Never right now. Like in the future, I'll never say never ever again because I'm like I used to try to say never with the KORN stuff, and now I'm doing it, and so who knows what the future. But there's a brother in the band, this guy Ray. He's first of all like there's whatever electronic stuff they've been doing, like he's right on with the click and he plays perfectly. But second of all, like he's like one of the most humble musicians that I've met, and he's like rated like this ultra sick drummer in the world,
Yeah.
So they're really happy with just how humble this guy is and nice, and his chops are like just total like on a high level.
You and Monkey are like the guys who created the KORN sound, everything. I mean, the guitar styling that we owe that created that distinct sound, and here we are 20-some years later, and KORN has gone in all these different directions. Now with the dubstep project, which I actually thought was pretty cool. I heard the record and the collaborations with that John did by reaching out to all those producers. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think it was very creative. I think they hit the ball out of the park with like the song "Get Up" and like that has everything because it has KORN, it has a pumping heavy part, it's got a really dark verses, eerie sounds, and then a great melodic chorus that lifts everything. It has all the ingredients, I think. And then my second favorite is the Narcissistic Cannibal. It was really good too. And some of the other songs I didn't like as much, but I think it was just a great. They always like do stuff that is just like, hey, let's do something like this that no one would think we're doing, and just they're not afraid to try new things. So hats off to them for that. It does split people in the middle. It seems like people either like it or they absolutely hate it. So it's like it's a trip.
And I'm gonna get to your latest project with Love and Death, but I just want to touch on a little bit more KORN stuff because this interview's been years in the making. I've been waiting to talk to you for a long time. I would have talked to you a long time ago. Yeah, it's my fault. The 20th anniversary of the KORN's first record happens next year, and people are starting to talk about it. I mean, such a game-changing record. And you put that record on now. I remember when it first came out, and people just didn't know what to do. I mean, people that knew you. I worked in a record store when the first KORN record came out, and I remember everybody coming in, and I had no idea the connections to Bakersfield, and then next thing you know, that record comes out, blows up. There's a million KORN clones out there. What do you think about that, man? All this time later, and the kind of trails that you guys have blazed for an entire subgenre of heavy metal.
I'm going to tell you, I think about this a lot, especially once I gave my life to Christ and, got real and totally got humbled and thought about life and just, I totally always think about, I love Bakersfield. I grew up in Bakersfield. People knock it all the time, but, my parents still live there. My brother lives there. I'm there all the time. And I always think about, I'm just this little chubby kid from Bakersfield who got picked on that, loved music and somehow got to Hollywood and formed a band, and the band grew wings and flew all over the world. It was I trip out on it still to this day, and especially now that I've been humbled and stuff, and I'm like, that just doesn't happen every day. And it's like even my dad used to tell me he'd encourage me, but he'd say we have a backup plan because there's how many thousands and thousands of musicians are trying to make it, and so I just trip out on that and how big that record got, and I just my dream in life was to have a unique guitar sound But I practice all solos with like Van Halen, Dokken, Motley Crue, all Rat, all that.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted a unique solo style with music. But it's funny how when we formed KORN, we didn't do any solos, but we came up with these weird guitar sounds and stuff that just gave us put us in our own league and stuff. So I'm very thankful for that, and I trip out that this little boy from Bakersfield made it so big, you know.
I saw what happened with Prince, who when he started embracing more of a religious lifestyle, embracing his Jehovah's Witness beliefs, he changed up a lot of his lyrics, or just kind of turned his back on some of the songs that were his biggest hits when he started to play live, and we kind of saw evolution. What about you with some of the the KORN material? You going to change the lyrics, or will you guys pick songs? How are you guys going to do that?
I think that we haven't gotten there yet, and we're just going to have a meeting. And I said, I just told him, I said, hey, we're brothers. We can talk about everything. That was one of my things. I was like, I have a daughter, and I'm raising her, and I've taught her different, than what I used to do back in KORN, and also I love to go speak places. I love to speak to the youth, and I don't want organizations to be like, oh, he can't come speak here anymore because. So I'd like to have like a compromise, but in no way would I have Jonathan change the lyrics. No way. I'd be like, I'm not going to battle over like some F-bombs. It's like everybody like in the music business seems like they talk all the same, so it's like I'm not uptight. There's no way I'm uptight. But at the same time, like if it passes a certain level to where it could affect my, like to where I got to talk to my daughter about stuff, and my speaking engagements, then we'll talk about that, and they're totally cool. Like there's so many KORN songs. There's a huge catalog. We can just say, hey man, that might affect like a speaking thing I'm doing. Do you mind if we just leave that one out and pick like this one, but there's no way I'm going to be uptight. There's no way that I would ask anybody to change who they are, because love is the strongest thing, and I love everybody like as they are,
Now, what's the biggest misconception do you think it perpetuated in the media about you?
Probably the biggest misconception is everybody thinks that KORN is raging alcoholic drug addicts and they're strippers every night, naked girls everywhere, like it was back in the day. When in reality, it's totally different now. There's been new marriages, new children coming into people's lives, and everybody has gotten their life together. And there's none of that crazy stuff. It's all about the music and the fans now. It's not about getting wasted, having chicks, getting 8 balls of coke. All that's gone. All of that's gone, and that's the reason why I'm. That's a big reason of why I'm coming back, is because it's all clear. There's no more drama. There's no more drugs. There's no more all that crazy stuff. So people are assuming that it's just like that still, and so I look forward to telling everybody that it's nowhere near that. It's totally opposite, actually.
And now let's talk about Love and Death. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, Love and Death. It's it's the band I started after I left KORN. I put out an album in 2005. Save Me From Myself was my solo album. I did YouTube auditions. I hired my band from YouTube auditions. I took them on the road. We became friends, and we started. I was like, you know what? You guys are good musicians. Let's write together. I did my solo thing. Let's do it and come up with a band name. And so we all agreed on Love and Death. Came out swinging.
Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of the big Christian pop groups. I mean, I've interviewed everybody from Newsboys, on down for some of the biggest groups in the Christian pop, Christian rock genre that have been around for years. And I was talking to one of the guys from Newsboys, and I said, I remember back in the 80s, the original Christian rock was not what we hear now. You had Christian punk, but now there's Christian speed metal, etc. on down the line. But the one thing is always was different was, of course, the lyrical content. How hard was it for you to make that transition into writing Christian rock lyrics as opposed to some of the stuff that you were doing with KORN, so that it doesn't sound, I don't know, I don't want to say that it might sound corny, but trying to do like a metal song and then trying to quote verses out of the Bible, inserting it. What was your kind of artistic direction crafting the song?
Yeah, that's Well, first of all, I don't like the band to be labeled like Christian rock, because it's like I don't want to be put in a box like that, you know. And I'm a Christian. Everybody knows it, and you know, some of the guys in my band are, and we're by no means like your every like average, you know, just what people would think as like Christian music, but we're not ashamed of. I just don't like to be put in a box, because I want to get out and play with. I hate when people label you like Christian rock, and then you're stuck in the, you know, just in that bubble. You know what I mean? I would like to do both. So, but I never was a guy that did the real religious stuff in my songs. You know, to me, it's all about being real. And I feel like my gift is singing about pain, singing about trials and tribulations in life, and finding a way out of those things. That's what my gift is. And so, to me, that's not that much different than KORN. You know, it's like Jonathan sang about pain a lot. You know, I mean, of course, a lot of the songs, like some of the songs, he got real crazy and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just, I love that about Jonathan, that he was always so real, transparent. He just laid it out there. And so, you know, he's definitely an influence, you know, on when I write lyrics. It's just like, you got to, Christian or not, like whatever you are, just be real. If you're given like a platform and stuff, you owe it to the generation, you owe it to the youngsters out there to be real and who you are. And I think whatever you stand for, like, people respect that at the end, you know.
KORN outlived pretty much everyone from that original nu metal era and still have that integrity. You guys are kind of like the godfathers. You know, we talked about the first record coming out and just kind of continuing on from there and still do really well. But do you think KORN, as you know, as music has changed so much, do you think KORN is as musically relevant today as you guys were in '94?
Well, it's difficult, you know, because all of rock isn't as relevant, you know. Rock music is totally like just kind of shunned with pop culture and stuff now. You don't see none on MTV. You go, it's all hip hop and like Katy Perry stuff, you know, Rihanna and all that. It's like that's all the labels are putting out, besides a select few, you know, and there's just not a lot of publicity for rock music, so I think it's all suffering. So, but again, like, I mean, I'm going to play like probably in front of like close to 1 million people in Europe with KORN. It's like they're very like relevant, and it's just you know, doing full arena tours. I think that could be done easily, like back in the day, if we get a good package together. You know, like some of the bands that, you know, just get a package together and you could totally fill arenas with KORN. So I think it's relevant like that. But I think rock music has definitely suffered. And dude, we may be like, you know, we hit 40 and everything, but I'm telling you, like, none of us look or feel 40. I don't think so. You know, it's like we're still going to go out there and kick butt, you know.
I saw a picture of you guys on Facebook in one of the captions, and it's also on the Wikipedia now, with you in the picture with the rest of the guys. It says, I think the caption on Facebook is, you know, 2013 is going to be a good year for KORN. With you in the photo, how big do you anticipate it to be?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm just going along for the ride. I'm like, whatever's meant to be is meant to be. But I just love connecting with my friends and my family from Bakersfield, you know. And I love to see, like, hanging out with Jonathan and seeing him, like, play with his kids. And, like, he's such a great dad. He's such an I told him the other day, I was like, man, you take your rock stardom away, you're a flipping awesome dude, man. He's so humble and gentle, and, like, I just love being around them. So however, that's the foundation, and however big it gets, you know, but bring it. Let's go do it.
Well, the stuff that's being reported now is you guys are going to do some shows overseas, and so there's kind of maybe 4 or 5 shows that are confirmed with you teaming up. Is that about it? Are we going to see more than just 4 or 5 total, or are we going to see like possible like some legs of tours?
I think it's possible. We're going to go over there and just get on the road and hang out and see each other every day on the road, you know, and see how the road life is with everybody. and then we're gonna see what happens, and we're gonna talk about it probably halfway through that tour, and there's a good possibility we do come back and do some shows in the States.
Are you guys kind of like the Eagles where the attorneys have to do all the communicating, or did you guys actually have a meeting together and make the decisions yourselves and then let the attorneys know?
Well, it's pretty simple actually, because we're all Bako boys that grew up together. So it's like, I remember I asked the manager one thing, and then like 2 minutes later I got a phone call from Jonathan. He goes, man, F the managers, man. Let's just talk ourselves, And so I was like, that's cool, that's pretty cool. And but as far as contracts and stuff, like we're obviously that comes in later, but it's all good. Yeah, it's basically us just talking to each other, and everyone's so humble now. It's like, hey, do you mind if this happens? And they're like, oh, dude, no problem. And they tell me the same thing. I'm like, yeah, no problem, So it's really cool.
You have a personal message for all your Bakersfield fans who've waited for this type of news to happen?
Yes, I would tell all the Bakersfield fans, man, I love them, and I miss them, and before it wasn't time to do this, but the time arrived, and I look forward to jamming with my brothers, and we're all a big family, the KORN and the KORN fans, and it's just like, it seems like everybody, like the diehard fans went through so much crap in their lives, and so did we. So to see restoration happen in this kind of way, in my life with them, is like just very uplifting for me, and totally, I hope it's for the KORN fans too, and I'm down with Bako. Always was, always will be.
All right, Brian. I appreciate you being so candid and taking the time, man. I'm glad we finally got to speak after all these years. Welcome back to the group as a longtime fan myself, man. This is really good news. And
dude, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Thanks, brother. I'll talk to you next time.
You got it. Take care. Bye-bye.